With the second season of the Fallout TV show on the horizon, I thought it would be fun to go back through the entirety of the first season and put together a highlight reel of some of the smaller hidden details seen throughout the show. So we're going to go through episode by episode, and I'll list off some of the more interesting things I've noticed. I also tried to not make this an I Spy video where I just point out Easter eggs from the games. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to 123 hidden details from Fallout Season 1 that you may have missed. Episode 1, The End. Cooper Howard's co-star horse at the birthday party is the same horse from the Man from Dead Horse movie. The horse is named Sugarfoot. Before being turned off, the radio mentions that the media has received no word from the president at the White House. This is a reference to a Boston Bugle newspaper article about the president's whereabouts. Unbeknownst to many, he had secretly moved his operations from the White House to the Enclave oil rig. The two-line exchange between these two men reference a few things. Barb and Cooper are divorced, and Cooper has been blacklisted from Hollywood. They also call Cooper a pinko. Pinko was a term to describe communist sympathizers. This further parallels Fallout's pre-war paranoia and the real-life Cold War paranoia. Cooper tells Janie that us cowpokes gotta take it as it comes. He says this exact line to Honcho at the end of the episode as well, after killing his men and trapping him in the coffin. We get to see not only Nuka-Colas, but also some Sunset Sarsaparillas and a bottle of Fish Brow Pale Ale, which can be found on beer taps in the Mojave Wasteland. Before being shut off, the map behind the weather reporter references the 13 Commonwealths map. As Cooper is escaping the birthday party and Great War, we get to see a vintage Vault-Tec billboard. Please note that I won't be pointing out every in-game asset and decoration seen in both the games and show. There are way too many, and if you look a bit closely, you'll probably catch them yourself. I'll only be pointing out a few. In that same scene, we see the Griffith Observatory, the same site of the NCR Brotherhood battle in the season's final episode. The movie that Hank and Lucy are watching in Lucy's wedding application montage looks like The Man from Dead Horse. It's kind of funny if that's the case. This means that Lucy could have possibly recognized the ghoul from the film. Norm is playing the Atomic Command Pip-Boy game at the dinner table. There's an old Gek advertisement on the corkboard behind the Vault 33 Council. These are the first pickles to ever make an appearance in the Fallout universe. Pickling is quite an ingenious practice, so you have to wonder why it hasn't been more common. Maximus got his chin scar as a kid during the destruction of Shady Sands. That ranking on the arm of the Brotherhood of Steel member is the rank of Knight. Dane is reading an issue of Guns and Bullets while nursing their foot. Both Walton Goggins, who plays the Ghoul, and Mykelti Williamson, who plays Honcho, are both antagonists of the show Justified. Justified was this modern Western crime show, so it's a bit humorous that both Goggins and Williamson get to reprise their roles as neo-cowboys. And the saddlebag that we see the Ghoul carrying throughout much of the season is the one that Honcho was carrying. Episode 2, The Target. Because it's Lucy's first time on the surface, the showrunners illustrate this by throwing in a lot of small Easter eggs in the background. I really can't cover them all because of the sheer volume, but I've selected a few. Again, I don't really want this video to be a Fallout-themed I Spy game. This episode marks the first time we've ever seen an Enclave member use a Pip-Boy. I suppose it would make sense that they'd have access to them due to their ties to Vault-Tec. This looks like a modified or reversed Repcon billboard that we see in the New Vegas loading screens. Titus complains about the useless nature of toaster ovens, but has clearly never met the toaster from Old World Blues. That guy's a menace. The sand water filter guy has both potatoes and mutt fruit bushes growing in his yard. The Philly, likely for landfill, food market has all sorts of classic meats on sale like stingwing meat, bloatfly steak, dog meat, and skewered iguana, or iguana on a stick. This guy is reading the Wasteland Survival Guide issue number 5, and a couple more comics can be seen throughout this episode too. That is one healthy looking Brahmin, kept its hide intact and everything. This skull looks a lot like the head of a super mutant hound, so I think that's kind of interesting. Someone must have brought it over from the East Coast to trade or something. A Robco shipping crate makes up part of the wall surrounding Philly. The shithole that Majun refers to is likely the Shady Sands crater. This CCCP satellite is evidence that the USSR was likely spying on the United States. Though the USSR wasn't as nearly as big of a global threat to America as China was, it seems likely that they weren't entirely removed from global politics. Wilzig calls Plan D the most humane thing Vault-Tec has ever made. Considering the Vault experiments, he's probably right, but Lucy doesn't know this at the time. According to the supplementary short Follow Your Nose, Plan A was the vaults, Plan B was Budge-Tech's pop-up shelters, Plan C was cardboard boxes, and Plan D was the cyanide. Wilzig calls Lucy Miss McLean before ever learning her name, and knows some information about her vault. This alludes to the fact that the Enclave, notably the ones in Fallout 2, had access to vault monitoring equipment. You'll notice as you watch the episodes that CX-404 goes wherever Wilzig goes. Cooper provides the dog with a stim pack so that CX can help track Wilzig for him. And this is one of the few episodes in the season that does not have any vault scenes. Episode 3, The Head. This episode is titled The Head, yet we see a The Beginning title card. This contrasts the end title card seen in the first episode. What I think this means is that these two cards are likely referring to the beginning and end of Cooper Howard's story. His pre-war story starts with the first question about whether or not he has to shoot Jorge in The Man from Dead Horse, and ends with him at the birthday party with Janie. Feo fuerte y formal means ugly, strong, and dignified, or formal. Supposedly famed Western actor John Wayne wanted the same line on his tombstone. The outfit Cooper is wearing while shooting the Man from Dead Horse is the same one from the first episode. Furthermore, I think the classic Vault-Tec colors on the outfit likely mean that Vault-Tec was funding the film. We see a man in a bomber jacket pass by. It looks similar to the bomber jackets that the Brotherhood of Steel wear in Fallout 4. We also see some actors in Roman outfits, likely a little Easter egg to Caesar's Legion. Elder Cleric and Cleric are new ranks added to this chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, and it would seem like the Commonwealth has adopted them as well. This is reflective of their more theocratic rules and teachings. This poster at Hollywood Boulevard looks like one of the posters found in Vault 11. This wouldn't make much sense to be there, but it is a neat Easter egg. Lucy's rad counter reads like 450 rads, meaning that she has advanced radiation poisoning. This isn't even the highest we see it get. When she's being dunked in the pond later, it's nearing deadly values. This will come back later. Lucy's survival pack includes socks, underwear, and deviled eggs. CX-404 waits by the pond because Wilzig's head is with the Gulper. The Vault 33 water chip malfunction is a reference to the inciting incident in the first Fallout game, where the Vault Dweller is tasked with replacing Vault 13's water chip. While the Vault 33 engineer says they only have enough water for 2 months, Vault 13 had enough water reserves for 150 days, or 5 months. Ad Victoriam, meaning to victory, was first ever mentioned in Fallout 4. This could allude to the cultural influence Arthur Maxon's Brotherhood has on the Brotherhood as a whole. When the Ghoul is escorting Lucy near the end of the episode, we see a few things from pre-war. This California Crest Studio Tours logo, though blurry, can be seen in the background here, and the Art Deco Atlas Woman statue is seen in pre-war and in this scene. Episode 4, The Ghouls. To start, the predicament with Roger and later Martha really reinforces the idea that isolation is one of the factors that leads to ghouls turning feral. Another interesting bit is that despite the Ghoul and Roger both being ghouls, living prolonged lifespans, the food that they reminisce about could indicate their age, or at the very least, their wealth. Roger has a fondness for the packaged Blamco mac and cheese, while the Ghoul thinks back to apple pie and ice cream. The ghoul recognizes the McLean name from meeting Hank McLean during the pre-war scenes. The game that Veronica is playing looks like classic solitaire. That's the same special poster found in Vault 76. The Mouse Utopia video playing in Vault 32 is narrated by Bud Askins and can be seen in the Bud's Buds supplementary content on Amazon Prime. This is the worst ice cream advert I've ever seen. That is extremely cursed. Ghoul organs are worth the same amount of caps as one holy frag grenade. These ghoul organs are 80% off because they're from feral ghouls or ghouls close to turning feral. Some Nuka-Cola victory promos. The Pip-Boys of the hanging Vault 32 dwellers are on the status screen. The Vault Boy avatar has an X flashing through it because the Pip-Boy is not picking up any data. There is so much wonder glue around Overseer Jackson. This is Lucy's first actual swear word heard in the show. And that's the same Life is a Race win billboard scene in Fallout 4. Episode 5, The Past. Because Max and Thad took Wilzig's head from the Gulper, CX-404 followed them. Then when Thad ditches Max, CX-404 follows Thad, further cementing this idea that CX-404 was extremely loyal to Wilzig. Man's best friend, after all. This Radroach absolutely fails at sticking the landing. Lucy's radiation sickness from the previous episode finally catches up to her. The Jet Rocks graffiti probably indicates that the jet problem in Fallout 2 wasn't entirely eradicated. This chalk drawing is of Betsy Ross. She designed the 13-star flag, which became known as the Betsy Ross flag. It was a strong symbol of independence during the early history of the United States. All things considered, Lucy's limb condition is quite good. Lucy's recollection of the sun is genuine. She was feeling the real sun as her mother Rose took the kids to the surface with her. Rink the Fiend was intentionally designed to look like Cricket from Fallout 4. This was confirmed by Michael Harvey, the makeup department head, in an interview with PC Gamer. Chet says that Vault Dwellers prefer Jello cake over apple pie. As Jello is a brand name, this further emphasizes the rampant consumerism and brand takeover in the world of Fallout. I love this mashed potatoes scene, by the way. It's not really a hidden detail, but dang is it ever effective. Vault 33's Reclamation Day is more than 200 years after Vault 76's Reclamation Day. You can see what is most likely the main entrance of Vault 4 in the background here. There's this nice detail that while everything else in Vault 32 was fixed, the Overseer's terminal was intentionally destroyed. There are no pre-war scenes in this episode, and the ghoul does not make an appearance at all. Episode 6, The Trap. The Galaxy News Planet fanfare is the same one from the intro video to the first Fallout game. It also mirrors the logo of Fallout's original developers, Interplay. The test subject's sign foreshadows the Vault experiments. Cooper tosses his cigarette butt only to be smoking another cigarette when he comes down the elevator. Not all the Nuka-Cola flavors were hits, apparently. This news article references the Sino-American War, specifically the theater of war taking place in mainland China. It reveals that the US Army was doing pretty well, actually. We actually met Keith McKinney in Fallout 4, albeit he looked a little more robotic than what I'd imagine he looked like pre-war. We see the Hawthorns in the back there. Lucy is eating some sugar bombs. Lucy's golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, kinda falls apart when she meets people with some slight mutations. Cooper asks to move to Bakersfield and Barb says no. This is likely because she knows that the local Bakersfield vault, Vault 12, was intended to have a malfunctioning main door. Vault 12 would later become Necropolis, the ghoul settlement in Fallout 1. Barb also accidentally reveals that not all vaults are good vaults. The news station references uranium shortages and ultimately the resource wars. Tallhand Mudlake is a despicable name. I don't even think J.K. Rowling could have come up with that one. A man called Henry calls the Howard residence asking for Barb. That's Henry, aka Hank McLean. Unit 428, the one assigned to Maximus, is the same one seen in the commercial at the beginning. Vault 4's main theme plays when Lucy touches the NCR flag. The finger the ghoul sews back on is the same finger he cut off of Lucy's hand. Lucy bit the ghoul's finger and spat it out, while the ghoul held on to Lucy's finger this entire time. You can notice the difference in skin quality. This finger becomes his trigger finger, allowing him to gun down the deputies. That Gulper birthing scene is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in the entirety of Fallout. And there's a cute little trog diagram in the back there. Episode 7, The Radio. The opening scene with the ghoul mirrors a scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. In the movie, a man comes home to find the bad sitting at his dinner table asking for information. The bad kills the man and his son, leaving behind a widow and another son. There's a power armor station at the Red Rockets. The snake oil salesman tells Thad not to worry about radiation near Shady Sands, as he just turned Thad into a ghoul. And the idea of a serum turning someone into a ghoul isn't without precedent. Hancock in Fallout 4 was turned ghoul from consuming some sort of experimental chem. Veronica is definitely playing classic solitaire. The same song by Dina Washington, What a Difference a Day Makes, is played both during the Vault 32 inspection scene and the Raider poisoning scene. This alludes to the idea that it was Betty who poisoned the Raiders. The fiddle music played by Carl at the radio station is the same song first heard in Fallout 3 on Agatha's station. It could also be heard on Radio Freedom in Fallout 4. The way in which Cooper Howard is reunited with CX-404 at a Red Rockets is similar to how the Soul Survivor meets Dogmeat. Cooper is reading issue 7 of Tesla Science magazine. There's the Hollywood Forever sign in the background here. Hollywood Forever was the same cemetery that Charles Whiteknife told Cooper to go to. And Todd Howard gets his cameo through the Napoleon Crossing the Alps painting in Betty's office. Episode 8, The Beginning. That's one of the ghouls that Lucy freed in Episode 4. Lucy says she was considering waltzing into the observatory and blowing everybody up, but decided against it because that's not how she was raised. It's ironic because that's exactly what Hank, her father, did with Shady Sands. That's a young Betty. Freddy Boy, as House calls him, is Frederick Sinclair. He was the creator and owner of the Sierra Madre Resort and Casino. House says that Frederick would lose money running a casino, yet the Sierra Madre was never made with the sole intention of turning a profit. It was made as a nuclear fallout shelter for Frederick and the starlet Vera Keyes, with whom he was infatuated with. The Vault-Tec conference room looks a lot like the war room in Dr. Strangelove. There are Canadian and Mexican vaults. Vault 27 from the Fallout Bible was designed to be deliberately overcrowded. Vault 51 was kinda governed by a robot. A Zax AI unit was tasked with selecting the best Overseer candidates. Vault 87 was tasked with developing super soldiers using the forced evolutionary virus. Vault 106 pumped psychoactive chems into the air supply. Vault 75 used eugenics to ensure only the best survived. The code to activate cold fusion is the release date of the original Fallout game, 10/10/97. That's the dead guy that Hank pulled out of the power armor suit so he could get into it. And while it's hard to make out some of the other landmarks aside from the Lucky 38, that funky looking sign there would be the one outside of the tops. And that wraps up 123 hidden details from the entirety of Season 1 of the Fallout TV series. As a final little detail, I will mention that the naming convention for the episode names, the and then something else to describe the episode, are similar to Lonesome Road's quest names. In fact, the end is shared between both the TV series and Lonesome Road. How neat. That's all from me today, folks. If you liked the video, be sure to share and subscribe. Let me know about any other interesting details that I may have missed. Join the Discord. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Huh. That's mids, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really got that
Yeah.
thing on it.
Well, it's not on it, it's in it.
Oh, yeah. I like it a lot, yeah. Some people, they're just so ignorant to music. It's kind of sad, I would say.
Totally.
Yep.